Did you know that you can use affirmations in many different ways? No? Well then, welcome to this video. So affirmations, what are affirmations? Affirmations are statements of fact, like I am, or this is, or they are, he is, she is, and then you have your sentence. So when you want to manifest something, for example, wealth, you would say, I am wealthy, not I will be wealthy, I am wealthy. That's the statement of fact that we want to make your subconscious mind believe. You basically want to reprogram you to shift into the energy of being healthy. I meant wealthy, but yes, healthy as well, or loved, or in a happy relationship. I am in a happy relationship. But we can use those affirmations in different ways. And one would be that you just quietly repeat them in your head over and over and over again. One thing I like to use when I do that is I do have those little counters here, as you can tell. And you can tell I have done this affirmation quite a lot already. And I do have those in different colors because each color for me is a different affirmation, like a different topic. Of course, you can use the same affirmation. For example, I am always loved. I always feel loved. Person X loves me. So you can have one color for love, one for, moving, if that is something you want. So I do have those, and you just repeat that affirmation over and over and over in your head. But you can also do it in a different way. You can basically chant it. And I don't know if I should do it right now because I don't have a singing voice. Let's try it. I do have a client who manifested good things with that because he liked to get into the state of the wish fulfilled by chanting, and that helped him to get deeper into this meditative state. So when we chant, it's basically like singing, but not with ups and downs. It's more like a very monotone, voice, you could say, very monotone tune. Let's do it with an umbrella affirmation. Like, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, and so on. You see, it's just like you repeat that like a flat line, basically. Of course, you could do it faster too, but here I recommend to do it more slow because we want to relax while doing it. Another thing is basically the opposite. It's an incantation. And when we have chanting and we have this very like monotone singing, an incantation is basically an affirmation that you repeat out loud, but you put your power into it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And you can see you can play with it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. You can just put your power into it. I feel so loved. I am in this happy relationship. I am wealthy. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. I am so healthy. I always feel healthy. That you could do, for example, also if you walk or jog, if you have the breath to do it, because you already feel there is a lot more energy, whereas the chanting, it is something where you get more into the state, you relax. This one is more like I am, and it's power out. Whatever fits your personality, right? Maybe you always thought affirming is so boring and you cannot do sats. You don't have to do sats. You can hype yourself up, and that is what incantations are. However, there is a different kind of incantation as well. That is something that was very commonly used in medieval times, and they had incantations where a different kind of incantation would be you mumble it, because let's say you were a doctor and you wanted to heal someone, and yes, doctors did that back then. They used affirmations, but they said them out loud. But of course you cannot say them too clearly because you don't want to give away your magic words. So they would mumble it so that other people wouldn't understand it. Like, you're so healthy, you're healthy. And they would do it really quiet, way more quiet than I just did it right now. And they had, of course, different words. There's like different words. For example, someone had worms, and then there would be a different incantation, like you could say spell, and then they of course would use other things, maybe like an amulet to help that as well. But in the medieval times, yeah, you don't give away your affirmations, you would mumble that. And you could do that as well. If I do have a client who affirmed throughout the day, and she didn't want to do it in her head, but she had like her kids around, so she just mumbled them and nobody understood what she was talking about. But that is also if you don't want to be completely quiet, but you don't want to speak them open or loudly in front of everyone. So yeah, 2 ways of incantation: hyping up or mumbling, keeping it a secret. Then of course you can do the robotic affirmations. Robotic affirmations are basically the same affirmations you just repeat. We were talking earlier about affirmations where I just said you can just think them, and of course you can use different affirmations, mix them up. What I like to do sometimes is that if I want to manifest something, let's do something easy like free coffee. I would say something like, it is so easy for me to manifest anything, and I get free coffee all the time. Or you can also use a mixture between affirmations and ask-affirmations. Why do I feel so good in my body? I am completely healthy. I am radiant. Why am I radiant? When you use ask-affirmations as well, then you can bypass the ego. I do have a specific video just on ask-affirmations. You will find it in the different techniques to manifest playlist. So of course you can switch them up. You can use different affirmations as long as you stay like in one group. You don't want to go from I am so happy to I am so loved, I am so wealthy. Stick with what is your intention. Let's say, for example, you want to do 5 minutes of one topic, then you do love, then you do wealth, then you don't constantly switch around. But of course you can add in words like manifesting is easy for me. Why is it so easy for me to manifest? Why do I attract everything I want? And then have that with your topic, whatever it is, money, wealth, health. Robotic affirmations, we just have this one affirmation that we repeat on autopilot, and those can help to get a little bit more into a meditative state because of the constant repetition. That is also the reason why I have recorded a lot of robotic affirmation video. You will find some in this channel and also my new channel, because I just recently outsourced them. Janine called Robotic Affirmations and Subliminal, because I realized myself when I listen to affirmations and I only use one, then that helps me to relax even more, because it is this same sound pattern, the same cadence that you repeat over and over and over again. Whereas when you listen to, let's say, like 5 to 10 different affirmations on the same topic, then you don't have this repetitive pattern that really can help to focus more. So make sure you check out those videos. And maybe if you are used to other kind of guided affirmations, it will be a little bit weird why I only repeat this one, or sometimes there is 2, but usually it is 1. But it will get the information into your subconscious mind faster. But I don't want to say that it's, for example, faster than the incantations, like this, I am powerful, I am healthy. It also, of course, depends a little bit on your personality. But what we don't want to do is scatter, jumping from one topic. I am wealthy, I am loved, I am healthy. Stay with one topic and then go to the other. Robotic affirmations, also, of course, as we already say, it is just repeating them emotionless. You have to do a little bit more of these in order to get them into the subconscious mind, because one carrier to get it into the subconscious mind faster would be emotion. But you don't need emotions, because some people have difficulties feeling something because maybe they are hurt still. Then, of course, I would advise to do the revision first, do the Ho'oponopono first, in order to get you out of the state, because sometimes when we are in the state, then you may, this affirmation may not work, and you may want to watch my video, Did I Kill This Affirmation, where I talk in detail about that and explain why affirming sometimes doesn't work when you are in this negative place. You can boost your affirmations by getting into the emotional state first. And I do have videos on that in the boosting your affirmations playlist. I can't repeat everything, that's like a full video in here, but you can hype yourself up and, for example, imagine it or consume music first that gets you into the right state. Or I do have more tips in my playlist, but do something where you evoke that emotion first, and then, when you already feel love because you listen to this amazing love song or used any of the other tips I described in the other videos, when you are in the state and then you use the affirmations, you can get them sink in a little bit faster, because your brain cannot differentiate that. Let's say you just listen to this love song and you feel love, and now you are doing the affirmation, that those are separate. For your subconscious mind, it does belong together. You are in this feeling and you connect the feeling to your affirmation. Another way you can use affirmations, of course, is scripting them. So writing them over and over and over again. And that is also a very good technique, especially if you are someone who sometimes has difficulties focusing on your affirmation. Because when you write them, you do have to focus on it more. Of course, then also your thoughts may sometimes drift away and you have to get it back into alignment, yes, but writing it can also push your affirmation or boost your affirmation, because when we write something, we don't just think. The more you use, the more parts of your brain are getting activated, the faster, of course, it can sink in. So when we just think it, it may take more repetition, but if you also speak it, then you activate the part of your brain that thinks and also the part that speaks. Let's say you write your affirmation, then you have the thinking, maybe you're even reading it or saying it out loud, and you have the speaking. You do have the movement part, and of course the visual part, because you see the words. Also, you're very focused when you script them. So scripting affirmations could be another method. Unless you really hate writing and it becomes a chore, then that's not the right technique for you. Another one is basically you listen to them on loop, and you can use apps. For example, for iPhone we have the Parrot app. I kind of like it and I don't like it. I don't like it because the sound is not good, and I cannot upload videos that I created, for example, with music into the app. But what I did back then was sometimes that I sat in front of my speaker listening to a song that I somehow linked with the affirmation, and then speaking the affirmation in while the song was playing. So I had the combination of that, but the sound is not very good. So I usually like to record them and upload them as private videos on my YouTube, my own affirmations, and then listen to them. Or of course, many of those that I recorded and that are public, some of those affirmations I of course created because I thought that I wanted them to have. So I thought, well, if they're good for me, they're good for others as well. Downside here is, if you don't pay for YouTube, if you don't have the paid membership, then you can only listen to it while you have this app open, and you cannot use any other app. With the Parrot app, for example, you can do WhatsApp and you can still have those playing in the background. But of course, you could use another device and upload your videos. If you have this YouTube channel, and you do have a YouTube channel if you watch this, most likely upload it as private, and then you can repeat that, you can loop that, of course, and have that in the background. Or of course, even better, well, I don't know if it's better, yours would be more personalized, but I do have plenty of robotic affirmations. So you have the same affirmation if you play that on loop, and even if you don't listen to it actively, your mind is still hearing it. That's also how subliminals work. You don't have to focus it or even hear it actively or hear it at all, and your subconscious mind still picks up on it. I personally prefer to have audible affirmations, and what happens if I do have them on during the day, I notice how I sometimes don't even hear them, but my attention shifts to those, and then I'm repeating them in my mind while I'm hearing them. And then I do that for a couple of minutes, and then my focus shifts to another place, but my subconscious mind is still taking them. So make sure to check out those subliminals, and also, of course, my robotic affirmation videos. So that was different tips. Please write in the comments which ones you maybe didn't know, and which ones you feel are the best perfect match for you. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. And I do see you there in my comments, in my other videos, my other channel on personal coaching. Until then, of course, I do wish you all the best now. Bye-bye. If you want to book your own custom-made affirmation or subliminal, you will find my contact information in the description box below. Or if you want me to coach you when it comes to manifesting, I am a certified manifestation coach. Don't hesitate to contact me.